What day is this?
It's Mail It In Friday.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
All right, here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, up on TSN 5, up on YouTube Live, later on up on Crave. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
What's going on today?
What's going on?
I felt like I was looking in a mirror yesterday, Hazy B, and you know what I saw?
What?
I saw Scotty Scheffler on TV giving it to his caddy. And I said, I only know one guy that would pull that stunt, and that's Hazy B.
Is that after he hit the drink there?
Yeah, he was not happy.
Losing it, dude.
A lot of different occasions.
He was like, I flushed that 7-iron. The caddy finally said to him, don't hit it there. Which, if someone said that to you, Hayes, you would have wrapped your club around their neck.
Never.
Dude.
We'll find out on Wednesday. I'll be there at the Pro-Am, right? I get a new caddy every year. It's very exciting stuff. The field continues to expand. It's really great stuff. I would never, ever do that to a caddy. Unless I knew the person. Then I would possibly be a little bit more animated. But not to someone you don't know.
No.
You know, like someone that's putting in time and effort to help you out. It's... You know, you got to keep it under control.
What do you think the caddy's excitement level is at where there's tons of celebs at this tournament, and the caddy master grabs him, and he's going down the bags, and it's like, you know, William Nylander, blah, actor, actress, and then he's like, there's your guy, Hazy B. What do you think's going through his head?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out on Wednesday.
Maybe he's a huge sports fan, loves the show. How many times do you get stopped in the street go, love the show?
That's right.
I got it today. I was my son's in a hockey tournament. It was at the rink, and I was at the Ford Center where the Leafs and the Marlies practice and all that. So that was kind of neat, you know, walking in. But there was a lot of hockey parents on, what is
spring
it, June
hockey,
5th?
man.
I mean, my God.
I was talking to a couple of buddies about that this morning, that what's crazy about spring hockey as they get older is there's no suspensions or anything. So it gets really kind of heated at times, right? And I'm not trying to put that on your burner. Your boy's young enough where it's not going to be a problem. But you get 15, 16-year-old kids, and they're like, if I swing at this guy, I'm not getting – this isn't sanctioned. There's no GTHL here. There's no OMHA. You know, so you get fights and you get parents going nuts. And you're in shorts and a T-shirt and flip-flops and losing your mind because
I got one league tougher that I just learned about 15 minutes ago in my front yard. Joe and Tony, who own EasyCon Construction, came over and we talked about putting a tree in my front yard. We're doing some work across the street, and we went through the game last night. Very knowledgeable hockey guys, and they said, we're professional ball hockey players as well. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I guess there's a league. They played in Toronto, dude, and it's like grown men, and it's a ball hockey league.
I don't think so.
I know of one guy.
I'm not buying that.
Hayes, these guys, I said, it's a professional league, and they said yes.
Well, professional in what terms? Like you're getting paid? They get paid?
Dude, someone tweet us in about the league. These guys, and I said, that league must get crazy with guys. And I said, absolutely. Guys, it's tough. You got to grind. You got to get in the corner. Dude, like it's a league, man. These guys traveled around North America playing professional ball hockey.
Hayes, you know a guy. You know a guy.
I personally know a guy.
Yes. Todd Hayes, I believe he was our first,
Yes, Todd was. I wouldn't call Todd a professional ball hockey player, though.
He would tell me stories. He'd be like, yeah, there was, a dust up and stuff. Guys would drop the gloves. Like, ball hockey's a different animal. Like, it gets intense. League. I believe Todd Hayes played in some form of
Tell us if you know. Tell us if you know about the league, man.
I'll text Todd right now. I guarantee I would be shocked if he returned with confirmed I was a professional ball hockey player.
I think he was like our head. What I don't.
I know
what his
exactly.
role was.
Of course, Todd ran the whole
PD.
operation. He was awesome.
Right.
My
Noodles,
point is,
to
he
jump
did it.
in here, I think he played with his buddies on
Right.
Tuesday night.
No. I want to say he played in like a
Hook, line, and
vicious
sinker. Then Noodles, you got duped, dude. There's no like he was telling you about his Tuesday night, 50 and over men's league, and you were thinking that this was actually
I would
like
sit
a
in
really
that room. Okay, when you were being there given the handout and 4 hours of your life, I would sit in that back room on Richmond with Hoagie and remember Hoagie?
Yeah,
Obviously, we
absolutely.
love
Mike Hogan, legend.
Mike Hogan,
Absolutely.
and Todd Hayes, and we'd be talking hockey, and Hayes would bring Todd Hayes, not Brian Hayes. Todd Hayes would bring up like ball hockey, and I believe it was professional. I thought it was.
Well,
Let's get an OverDrive team
all right,
going.
we'll figure it out. But my understanding of being labeled professional means you make money.
Yeah, you're
even
paid
if it's
for it.
$20.
Dude,
You make
Joe
some
and
money.
Tony told me it was they were not screwing around. They were not playing with their buddies. They went to like North American championships.
Who's
Somebody
watching that though?
Dude,
Who's
I don't
buying
know,
tickets
packed
to see
barns,
Joe
man.
and Tony play ball hockey somewhere?
I would
Don't
watch.
talk about my buddies like that. I just
I
met
know,
them,
but
but don't talk about
With
them like
all
that.
due respect to Joe and Tony, I
Yes.
just can't picture it. Hey, Saturday night, man, under the lights, massive game. They're playing
If
Team
you have
Pink.
info, legit info regarding the league,
Yeah.
please write us because I want to know more
Yeah,
about it.
Okay.
let's be careful
All
here
right.
because we're going to get doxxed by a bunch of ball hockey fans going, you guys don't know that this league exists.
All right.
We don't
That's
know.
me.
There's a whole
That's on
world
me.
out there, man, and we'll go watch a game if we get enticed.
Who's putting that liner up? Would you brag about being a pro hockey? Like, who
That's
just
Normie.
jammed us up with
Norm
that?
Peterson. Normie's running the whole operation today.
I love it.
Yeah,
Guys,
Norm.
take that down,
Jam us up.
Normie. They weren't bragging about it. They were just telling the truth.
Norm is just making us look bad. If we are in a bar right now.
That's the same
and there
guy
was-
that said I was unavailable for contact in the press release.
Yeah, I support that because I am mocking
was
the idea
great.
of playing professional ball.
No, you're
hockey.
not, dude. Tell us
Yeah.
about the league. If you know
All
about
right.
the league, send us a tweet, anything, at Hayes TSN,
Right.
because I know they were not lying.
Okay.
Right now, it's beautiful in a lot of places. There is a team, a ball hockey team at a Boston Pizza having beers, watching that headline going, would you brag about that? And they're saying that Brian Hayes, he
I
hates
know.
the New Jersey Devils.
always
He
me.
hates,
It's always
hates the
me.
Hall of Fame. And they're saying that's exactly, that Hayes is up to his old tricks again.
Yeah, there he is, smirking, smug. That smug smirk.
It's a
Same-
hall with some
Love it.
plaques in
Same
there.
vibe as Scotty Scheffler with his caddy. Yeah, it's listen that I don't know, amateur, professional, older people playing sports on the side. Like I haven't told you guys, I'm in a slow pitch league. I've played 2
Professional.
games.
Professional.
It is professional. There's beers on the line, so there is something on the line. I have not been able to walk for 2 weeks. I
Oh,
can't
really?
walk. Oh, my
Dude,
quads.
from playing slow pitch?
Yes, because here's why. I don't have the pacing down on the bat speed. Like these pitches are so slow. So I'm squibbing balls. And when you do that, you have an obligation to run as fast as you can because your teammates are like, dude,
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? Get out of the
let's
box.
go.
Like there's guys decked out in baseball gear, baseball pant, sliding into second base, like slides, like bang, bang plays.
Dude,
and I'm
I
out
played
there
in a
just trying to stay alive.
I played in a co-ed league down in Long Branch. Wes O'Neill, Kinger, MVPs. Like these guys would launch home runs.
Launching.
Into people's,
Isn't that the
launching,
guys?
dude.
Weren't you
Launching.
was on a team with a guy who wore jean shorts and smoked in the
Gary.
outfield. Is that
Oh,
the
yeah.
Gary?
I got
Gary,
multiple smokers
legendary
on my
play.
team.
He got caught up in a foul ball, and he came back. He goes, "Sorry, guys, I was blowing a dart, and the smoke got in my eyes, and I lost it."
Yeah,
That was his apology.
dude, that's professional. I saw
That's-
the same thing.
And
Our
he was a
captain,
hell of a player, Gary.
If
He
you're-
was the first time I saw him in the box, he had just finished a cigarette. He flicks it away and he hit a 3-run moonshot into some guy's windshield. And I'm like, all right, I've made it. I'm in
Yeah.
the bigs.
Gary.
This is the real deal Holyfield. So
Oh, I love
anyway, yeah, the legs have been struggling, but it's all good. And I've been putting in hours at night. I think we all have. And I'll say this: my wife got captivated last night, not by anything I brought to the table, with 12 minutes to go, she's like, this game's over. I'm going to shut her down. I go, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just wait and see what happens here. Stan Coven ends up scoring. I said, I'm telling you, I think this is a hockey game still.
Yeah.
And the last 12 minutes of the third period and into overtime, that is as good as it gets in sports. Like the first two periods, the two of them were just like no opportunities, no chances. Exactly.
Yeah.
You take 12 shots, we'll take 11. And, obviously you've got maybe a shift in the Conn Smythe with Howden scoring two more again last night. Two beauties where he got behind the defense and beat Freddie. But what a third period, what an overtime, what a sporting event last night.
Saved the series.
Just awesome. Saved the series, Carolina getting that win.
I
Exactly
think so,
right.
too. Oh, I don't know how you feel about it, but when I watched it was too Cobb, or even, it looked like Vegas was in control after two periods and Carolina couldn't get anything going. And I said to myself, I'm like, I think Vegas just got too much here. Like I was concerned for Carolina because I'm like, they just can't break through. And, Hart makes a couple good saves. I thought he was good in tight. And I'm thinking Vegas is just, they've got this. I think this is series now. Coin flip for me. Like
Carolina could be up 2-0. They were up 2-0 in game one, and they let the game get away from them, and it was tied late. And obviously, Vegas found a way to win game one. To their credit, I think both teams fly to Vegas thinking we got a chance to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I think both teams should feel good about where they're at. I don't think it changes the odds at all based on what we saw through two games.
And that's what you would want during a series if you want to have entertainment. And just to your point, Hayes is about as good as the hockey can be. For everybody that was like, oh, it's not the Leafs, it's not the Habs, it's not Nathan McKinnon in the Cup. That's as good as hockey as you can be played. Like, it's not those markets where the big thing was, are people going to tune into this because of the kind of non-traditional markets? I think the hockey's as good as it can be, and it's an unbelievable display for the sport. And not too often, just like you mentioned, do both teams, after game two, change venues and feel somewhat good about themselves and think they can win the Stanley Cup in 10 days or less. And that's when you know you got a good series.
Absolutely. I think Vegas, as a market, obviously it's not New York, Boston, Philly, Toronto, Montreal. But I think what they've accomplished 10 years into existence, like they are a needle-moving organization. So
totally, dude.
Yes, they're I don't know how they're not a southern market, but however you want to describe it,
non-traditional
Sun Belt market, and yet they move the needle because they're constantly active, they're constantly in the news, they're a very easy team to dislike, yet you have to respect them. So I think they really do move the needle. By all accounts, the ratings in the U.S. have been great. Through two games.
Well,
and you know what? Scratch that comment, non-traditional market. With the amount of winning that they've done and going to the Stanley Cup in their first year, winning a Stanley Cup in, I believe, year 6, and now back again in the Stanley Cup, they should be regarded as some type of traditional market. Why, downplay their market and say it's a non-traditional? That's a stupid comment. They are the market right now. They should be.
And the fan base, they're proud of it. But keep in mind, I'll give you an example. I had a buddy that is in Vegas right now. He was posting on his Instagram him by the pool. And
what a life.
The game on the screen, it's a bar, that marquee bar or whatever. The game is on the screen. People are drinking and partying by the pool. And he's just sitting in a chair, he's watching a Stanley Cup final poolside in Vegas, where he's a fan of the Vegas Golden Knights, and he's got the best life.
That'd be a pretty good setup. Yeah, that's a difficult one to beat. But yeah, it was just it was a really amazing turn of events by Carolina last night, because I had the same sense. I'm playing it up as if I knew they were going to come back and win in overtime. I thought they would push. I certainly didn't think it would be a scenario where with 12 minutes to go, Vegas is up 2-0. And with 2 minutes to go, they're down 3-2. I didn't see a scenario like that. But once Stone scored to tie it, at that point, I'm thinking Vegas has just they've got the magic touch.
Yeah, they're not losing.
They're they're not going to lose. This is what they did against Utah. It's what they did against Colorado. It's what they did against Carolina in Game 1. So, to push it to overtime, I think it was the right call on the trip on Stahl.
I agree.
And, Gostisbehere sold it brilliantly. It was a brilliant play by him. And Seth Jarvis, they needed that. How much did we talk about that top line not showing up? And they needed one of them to contribute significantly. And that's exactly what happened last night.
Dude, massive goal for Seth Jarvis.
Big time.
Like, you would just think that would – great play by Gostisbehere, too. Like, that it's just a little simple play, but that kind of look off like he's going to flick it on net, it just kind of sells it for everybody, including the goaltender.
Yeah.
And it's just the perfect pass. That's, some would say, my office right there.
Mm-hmm.
And great shot by Seth Jarvis.
And keep in mind, like, Carolina hasn't had a juggernaut of a power play. Stahl gets one. Jarvis gets the winner. Like, they needed, their top players to step up. And I think it's moments that you see. And Jarvis, I love that his goon buddies were there with no tarp on in the stands.
Those guys work or anything? What do those guys
how
do?
do they just take off for days at a time? And they're going to Vegas right now.
Oh, for sure. They're driving.
I would fly, if it was me, I remember in the Stanley Cup Finals, my best buddy Dave Lilac and his wife came to Game 1. We won. I asked them to drive back and come to Game 2. I personally asked them. I had a goal and an assist in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. They drove from Guelph to Detroit, and I said, do you mind coming back for the next game in Detroit? And they said, yeah, sure. And they came back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have to in a situation like that if you're superstitious. But, it was a great game. It was a really big moment for Carolina. And, there was more reviewing last night, obviously, on was it Dorofeev, I guess, but Barbashev was in the middle of it all. And, I thought it was
a goal, to be honest. I'm shocked that they called that goalie interference because I thought the puck was loose.
Well,
but again, you don't know.
It went through Freddie, but clearly it was loose because it got tipped through him.
Right.
So how much control did he really have? My thought on it, Noodles, was go with whatever the call was on the ice.
Which is fair.
And they waved it off immediately, so I was fine with it in the end. And I was also fine with Tortorella challenging it.
Yeah.
Like, I know it cost them 2 minutes, and then Stahl scores, and they're down 3-2 in the end. But they immediately wave it off, and if he didn't challenge it, they wouldn't really have a second look the way that they did. I did not have an issue with him realizing all the momentum's going towards Carolina. You're up 1-0 in the series, a chance to take 2 in Carolina. Go for it and hope they see a different view and have a different opinion.
So
I actually think Tortorella made the right call.
You would have challenged that
yes,
if you were Tortorella.
I honestly do. I know we got it wrong, and I know it was at risk there. I get it, that if you get it wrong, you're giving them a power play, and they end up scoring there, and it looked horrible. But they waved it off so quickly, and he was saying, he's like, you're looking at Barbashev. It's not Barbashev. It's Dorofeev. He's trying to explain it. And I think in the moment what he was trying to do was steal one there. He's like, if they can just let this go in, we've got it. We're up 2-0. The Cup Final's basically in our palms. Right. I actually think he made the right call. As much as I hate supporting Torts with his goofy postgame again last night, where just disdain for anyone possibly asking him a reasonable question.
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
just sit there, dude. You're in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Hero. You're in the Cup Final.
I know, and especially after the nonsense that happened against Anaheim.
Exactly.
Like, wouldn't you think it would be like, just put your ego aside. He just can't stop himself. I love the guy. He's old school. He's a winner. And I really do like the guy, and I think I would get along with him. But it's just like, you've already had your little hand slapped once. Wouldn't you think you could just answer the question? It was just a great display of 2 games. And I get it, you're upset that you lost, but is every question that stupid, really? Everybody in that media scrum is very knowledgeable. It's the best of the best covering hockey, and they're asking reasonable questions, and he's like, I'm just not doing that, or I'm just not. Just stop it, man.
Well,
like, what? Don't you get tired of yourself? I don't know.
The one thing you have to respect, whether you like it or not, is he doesn't change for any, like, that's how he is. Like, that's whether you like that or not, whether he cost his team a second rounder, $150,000 fine, whatever that was. It's like, I'm in the Cup Final trying to win. I'm pissed off right now. I'm going to do what I do, and we hate it. Yeah, I'm sure some people in the media, some people in that room are like, God, just let us do our job. But he's not changing for anybody, and I kind of respect that.
Yeah, I hear you. You're right. Listen, he's been consistent his whole career.
Exactly. Like, he's not bending the knee. And I come back to it. I agree with you, Brian. Like, I would have challenged it, too, because it was a gray area one. I thought the puck was loose under Freddie. I thought the stab pushed it through. And by the time the ref was waving it off, he's looking underneath Freddie. The puck's in the net.
Right, he hadn't seen the puck. I don't think he saw the
puck roll through. So
You're right.
The fact that you give the ref another chance to peek at that and go, just so you know, the puck's squirted through on that backside. Take a look at it. They didn't get the call. It ends up costing them a goal against. They had opportunities to finish that game off. Give Carolina credit, but I would have challenged that. I personally would have. But again, they got the wrong call, or Carolina got the right call.
Yeah, they stuck with the call on the ice, and then again, it ended up not mattering because it went to overtime. Stone ties it up, and again, Jarvis with the winner last night. And we're really chugging along here. Like, we got Game 2 now, the NBA Finals. Game 1 was phenomenal a couple of nights ago. I think the Cup final, the NBA final is going to be great. Again, we got the Memorial cooking. We got the RBC Canadian Open. We got the Lincoln Cup coming up on Sunday as well.
We do have the Lincoln
Cup.
Up. And I have
Sunday.
A question for you, Hazy. If the Spurs go down 0-2, you and Frankie, what would be the buyout? What's fair? On a $100 series bet. If I want to buy out and just say...
Okay, let me think on that.
$62.
Yeah, something like that.
Dude, no way.
High price.
I think I give you 25 and Frankie Rubes 25, and that's it.
So you're saying
is that
50?
Not fair?
The blue light special 50?
Yeah.
Why don't you just finish it off and
finish
eat
it
the
out?
200?
The Spurs, even if they lose tonight, like, they're not going to get swept. I don't see that happening. Like, the Knicks have not lost in a long time. I think it's a lot like Vegas, Carolina. Like, both teams, the Knicks are kind of like what Vegas was coming in. Like, they swept the previous. But we'll talk. We'll figure that out. Again, Lincoln Cup, Team Hayes versus Team O-Dog Sunday on TSN at noon. We cannot wait for that. We know the outcome. You got to check it out. We'll talk more about it early next week. Ernie Clement, my boy, right? He was on fire over the last few games in Atlanta. Big win for the Jays last night. They're back home, starting a series tonight. Keegan will join us from the park later this hour. Mike Johnson coming up. Jack Armstrong coming up. And, of course, we want to acknowledge the passing of Cliff Fletcher, though, on the way out of the first segment here. Just the definition of a hockey legend.
Yep.
Right? Hockey legend. And the trades, the Doug Gilmour trade, the Matt Sundin trade, which was crazy when you consider it. Wendell Clark, after back-to-back conference finals, just incredible. For them, for him to have the courage to make that play. But been around the game a long, long time. And anyway, we'll continue to touch on that. And we'll get to Mike Johnson just after 5 p.m. OverDrive continues, TSN 1050, and up on YouTube Live.
Tonight on TSN 1050, the NBA Finals continue between Jalen Brunson's New York Knicks.
The Brunson burner has been lit.
And Wemby's San Antonio Spurs.
Wembanyama throws it on his head.
Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your game your way. Keegan Matheson later in the hour from the Rogers Center. Jays back home playing the Orioles tonight. Trey Savage on the mound for the Jays. Looking forward to that.
Hazy, just a quick thought on Cliff Fletcher. I think if you look at his kind of tenure with the Maple Leafs, it's like everybody associates him with like pulling off that trade with bringing Dougie here and that whole kind of era. Just that was kind of the golden era for us growing up in Toronto, and just he was a part of that, bringing in, I think he brought in Pat Burns, did he not, as the coach?
Yep, that's right.
Like he did a lot, like it's just tremendous guy, and Dregs, mentioned like the storytelling. It's just an amazing guy. Then everybody that came across him, like just awesome person, tremendous loss.
Yeah.
I never obviously played for him or anything, but the one thing I always liked, you go to the rink, like, when you think of hockey lifers, people that are around it all the time and all that, like that's what he was. Like when I got the Toronto Maple Leafs for years, he was kind of like the face. Like regardless of who the manager was, or whoever was running the show, it just always felt like he was the guy. And the one thing that I always respected is no matter where you were, like he remembered me not as a TSN guy, he remembered me as a goalie or a player. And, when somebody remembers your name and it actually is very cool, because I never thought a guy like that would know who I was and, stop, have a conversation. I love the guy. Every time I got a chance to be out there. Hayes, you probably saw him a lot when, we were doing post-game hits.
Oh, yeah,
and all
down
of
at the
that
rink
type of
all the
stuff.
time. Yeah, he's been working as, an associate with the Leafs for a long time. And,
right.
Obviously won a cup with the Flames in '89.
Yes.
And then, when he got to Toronto, it was really, the 80s were so tough for a lot of Leaf fans. And it kind of represented this, turning of the page. Like you said, hire Burns, acquire Gilmore, back-to-back conference finals. And the Clark deal, we've talked about it with, the core players of the Maple Leafs now for the last decade. Like, who's got the stomach to make a trade? Can you move it? Will you move it?
This guy traded Wendell Clark.
Like, Wendell Clark has a 100% approval rating. I don't know of any other athlete.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know of any other athlete, in the history of the city that would meet that mark. And he traded him after 2 straight incredible playoff runs. I think Wendell had 46 goals that year too.
Yeah, he did.
And he traded him straight up for Sundin. And it was an incredible trade. Like, as much as we love Wendell, Mats was like 22 or something and came in and gave them 13 unbelievable seasons.
Imagine the jam to pull the trigger on the handlebar
courage.
mustache from Sasky to the Euro player with the Jofa on. That takes jam, dude.
Serious jam. And he pulled the trigger on it at the draft. I think it was Bob McKenzie that broke that deal.
Wow.
It was, obviously had an incredible life and great career. So we're thinking of the Fletcher family today. I guess, the current GM, John Chaika's, down at the Combine and talking, and he's doing interviews. He was interviewing with Gino and speaking with the press. And I guess, said he flew out and met with McKenna, said they're going to take the best player available. I'd have to believe that means it's Gavin McKenna. I'd be very surprised at this point if they don't take him.
It's like Johnny said. He said it depends how you're going to view it. Because for the first 2 years of their NHL careers, it might be that Stenberg kid.
Yeah.
But maybe after that, 3 years, 3 to 7, it might be you find out that Gavin McKenna is the best player. So it's an interesting way to look at it. What do they need? What do they want? You got to think about all those things.
I think the top 5 or 6 teams, maybe a little bit more, even talking to Craig out in Kelowna there, you're going to get a good player, like a really good player. Like there's some really good players in this draft, highly rated. You're right. If McKenna is the separator, like it depends on what Chaika values right now. And, that's the biggest thing. And I don't think they're going to get it wrong. I think they're just going to figure out what they want to do and what direction that comes with. And, there's lots of teams I know in talking to them, in a few teams, they've got plan A, B, C, or D depending on what Toronto does, what San Jose does, right up to, 6, 7, 8 type of thing. So I think it's going to be really exciting. I'm hoping there's so much stuff going on at the draft.
Dylan Larkin, maybe he gets flipped before the trade deadline, and I saw you guys talking about it yesterday. Well,
yeah, I want to hear this. The whole ball of wax, man.
This is, to me, is much different than Tkachuk and Quinn Hughes because he's from Michigan and he's got 5 years left on his deal. So this, to me, like my read on it.
No movement, Hazy.
He's got clear issues with Steve Yzerman. Like, that seems pretty clear from my perspective, right? Larkin and Yzerman are not necessarily seeing eye to eye. But this guy hasn't played a playoff game since Pavel Datsyuk was his teammate. So, I think it's about a decade of futility, a season that went awry again. And I think what has happened here is ever since they got back to Four Nations, the Olympics, like these big boys are getting together more than they used to. And I think they're talking
while they're at the Olympics. Oh, how's this place?
How's that looking? How's this?
Yeah.
And listen, Matthew Tkachuk kind of changed the game, right? Like, he used his contract as a reason to get out, which was his right. And he picked where he wanted to go, and he's had immense success. Like, the last 3 or 4 years, he's had it's as good as you can get in a professional career.
Yeah.
3 Cup Finals, 2 Stanley Cups, and a gold medal. That launches him into legendary status in a game. Yep. And he will reside there for the rest of time because of what he just did in the last 3 years. And I think that is what is probably happening here. And I appreciate it's not an American wanting out of a Canadian team. This is an American in his home state, went to the University of Michigan, and saying, I want out of here. I'll believe it when I see it from Yzerman. I don't know what he's going to do here. And I'm curious what Larkin wants in the end and where he wants to go. But and what the market looks like you guys talked about. What is he? He's not a superstar. He's a really good player.
Yeah.
With a really
maybe
good
he
cap
thinks
hit.
that too. Like maybe I don't know if any athlete or a guy like a player as good as him would think this, but we talked about it yesterday, Brian, where if he on a really good team, he's a 2C.
Yep.
Like he's behind like he's a secondary guy. He's a secondary wave. And maybe he just looks at it like if I'm the one guy on this team, maybe we're not getting it done. It's kind of a weird way to view things or yourself or anything like that, but maybe he just wants to go somewhere else, much like Mitchie did. Mitchie kind of just said, I'm going to go somewhere else and I'm going to be a piece to the puzzle.
Yep.
And maybe that's what Dylan Larkin wants to do, as opposed to being, I got to be this and I got to be that and I got to do this. I want to be a piece of the puzzle. And it's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out, because I'm sure when you make these demands or ask for this, it is not taken lightly by anybody, man.
Like, and there's no turning back, Noodles.
Yes.
Like the people in Detroit, I'm sure, will be like, fine, get the hell out of here. Some people, not all people, but a lot of them. Like, all right, you don't want to be here? Get the hell out then.
Yeah.
You can't,
and I'm sure
they
they don't want to make his life as cozy and the best situation for him as possible, because he said, I've got a no movement and I want out, and they just have to capitulate to it, where it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, you want to be a Florida Panther? Well, that would piss me off, man. A team in your division, whatever.
Right.
Unless I get it. If you're a fan, all of that type of stuff. But there's probably people that are reasonable there that go, don't blame him. Like, it's not like it's a year and a half into his tenure and say, I'm just quitting on this group. This guy has been the face of that organization for a decade. Arguably, like depending on, name me another player that has been the face of that organization. It's him, right? So he's put his time in there, hasn't gotten to where he's wanted to be. He's turning 30 this summer. Yes, he's got 5 years left on his deal. And you're right. It depends on what organization he goes to, whether he can be the number 1 or the number 2. I put a list together, Brian, yesterday, thinking, okay, he could go to Mini. They got Hartman as the number 1.
He'd be the number 1 guy there.
He'd be the number 1 there, playing with, Kaprizov. If he went to Boston, they've got Lindholm as their number one. He could probably be the 1 or 2 there because Zacha's their number 2. You go to L.A., they got Byfield, so he could be the 2 there. You go to Anaheim, they got Carlson, and they got Granlund as their number 2.
Yeah.
So,
he would be a great fit in Anaheim. I like that Mason McTavish. And let's not just forget one thing about this whole thing, Hayes. Let's not deny the one thing. He's a big body, and he's a good player. Like, you watch that
he
guy
can play at Dylan
Oh,
Larkin.
dude,
He
at
can
the
skate.
Four Nations in different turns. Like,
He was really good at the Olympics.
Yeah,
he's good,
he's
man.
a player, man.
No, he's really good. And,
he's a player.
And, yeah, listen, I think what these guys have proven, for whatever reasons they left, and they all left with different situations. Tkachuk, Quinn Hughes, Marner, they all went to really good teams, right? Like that was like Mitch. And Mitch may have looked back on it and said, like, I know it's loud and we'll never know the true answer as to why it had to break loose. And maybe he knows that answer, maybe he doesn't. The reality is he may have looked at the Leafs and just said, I can't win here. It's not going to work here. Quinn Hughes clearly looked at, like, I know they played their cards well with, it was a contract and he wants to play with his brothers. Maybe. Or he looked at it and said, this team stinks and I have no chance. And I think Matthew Tkachuk may have looked at it and said, I think Goudreau's walking. I think Gio's getting up there in age. I don't know if Markstrom's going to stay. What are we going to do here? I'm not going to stay. I'm going somewhere else. And look at Calgary ever since he left. They've been one of the worst teams in the league the last 3 or 4 years. So, those guys, they left teams where they maybe thought they couldn't win, and Larkin would be at the top of the list because Detroit is the new Buffalo. They've been in the playoffs in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, they're the new Buffalo. They're just a team that kind of never makes it, and maybe wants to go somewhere else. But if you're going to go somewhere else, if you want to follow in the footsteps of Tkachuk, Marner, Hughes, you better find a good team. There's only so many of them in the league.
Well, and keep in mind, Detroit for many years, wasn't it 25, 26 years they didn't miss the playoffs?
They were the crown jewel of the NHL for 25 years.
It was Ken Holland. It was Jimmy Neal. It was, hey, we're going to find Pavel Datsyuk in the 7th round. We're going to do all these things. And, yes, it's been a down cycle. But I think this could be a win-win for both organizations. We can chat about it on the other end. But I think there's an avenue here where both get what they want.
Okay.
Moving forward.
I want to know if there's a potential B listing on the fly, Dylan Larkin not happy with his team and wants out because he doesn't think they're competitive. Underpant Cam on other GMs after this happened with their own team, thinking,
okay.
Oh,
I know what you mean by that.
No,
you try to do that.
I'm not pointing down the street. I just want to know if there's a different Underpant Cam for GMs that are like, we better have a good year, or X or Y might say, check, please.
Okay. I can try to put that together. Keegan coming up from the Park, Jays Orioles tonight. We got Mike Johnson coming up, more on this with Johnny as well. And Jack coming up ahead of Game 2 of the NBA Finals. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. This time next week, Canada, Bosnia is almost wrapping up, hopefully with a win for the Canadian side. This time next week, the Yankees roll through town for a 3-game series against the Jays.
What a week, dude.
What a week. Wow. RBC Canadian Open, Jays Yankees, World Cup. Like, it's the greatest week of all time next week. First pitch, 7:37 on the Friday night. But you know who will not be there for the Yankees? Aaron Judge, who has a pretty significant injury.
Shoulder
4 to 6 weeks or month.
At minimum,
4 to 6 weeks, yeah.
Before they even review what's going on. It sounds like it's panic time in New York. So what does this mean for the American League East? What will it mean for the Jays into the future? Let's head down to the Dome where Jays-Orioles, a battle of the AL East, is happening tonight with Trey Savage on the mound. Here's our main man, Keegan Matheson from MLB.com. What do you make of the Judge news, Keegan, and how much buzz does that kind of create around the Jays, Orioles, et cetera, going into a weekend like this?
Big time, fellas. Outside of maybe Shohei Ohtani, like, this is the biggest injury news you can get in baseball. And anything that happens in New York is going to get multiplied, right? So in the American League East, the Yankees have been running away with it along with the Rays. This can tighten things up. Now, granted, when Aaron Judge missed some time over the last couple of years, the Yankees were just fine. It all worked out. And if he needs to miss even more time, I think the Yankees will go out and be very bold on the trade market. We've seen that over and over again. But it doesn't help them. There's no silver lining here if you're a Yankees fan. And for a team like the Blue Jays, who are desperate to get back into it, and who still, guys, I think even after last year, they still look at the Yankees as kind of the long-term big brother in this division. You know, it's still always the Yankees chasing. This is a big opening. And like you were talking about, Hayes, off the top, like, World Cup's coming up. But a month from now, a little over a month from now, World Cup's over, NBA's over, NHL is over. The Blue Jays can position themselves after a weird start as still the hot story of the summer. Man, it's still right there in front of them. And if they can beat the Yankees, that'll only help.
Tell me the offensive outburst last night, Keegan, is a start of great things to come. I know there was like some sea stuff down in Buffalo. Like, just tell me that this is going to create some mojo instead of the last couple weeks where it's been like get back into it, kind of slip around a wild card, and then just lose 3 or 4 in a row, and then people are throwing their arms up, and it's like, what in the heck is going on here?
I like you too much to lie to you, O-Dog. Come on now. We know how this is.
You're not buying into it.
Back and forth. Come on. It's been so strange because they are hitting aces. Remember when Paul Skeens was here in Toronto a couple of weeks ago? They hit Paul Skeens as hard as he's been hit all year. Then they get Chris Sale, the best pitcher in that series. He's the guy they hit. It seems like the Blue Jays are playing up to the level of the starter they're facing, which, I mean, like, start the playoffs tomorrow. Maybe they'd win the whole thing. But they need to figure out how to go out and mash against a pitcher that sucks. And they haven't been doing that lately, which is why this has been so confusing to figure out. The guys they're supposed to hit hard, they're not. And the great pitchers, they're figuring out. So this whole season, guys, I think we know it hasn't found its level yet. It's this weird 2-month stumble that they're in. And I keep coming back to the fact that you need your big dogs, which for me is Vladdy, obviously, but George Springer, Alejandro Kirk as well. None of those 3 hitters are playing like they should be. Kirk not even healthy right now. You need that back to be really on a run. But, hey, it's a good start. Good news in the injury front with Dylan Cease, who might not even need another rehab start. So maybe we're getting closer, but I think the 2026 Blue Jays have taught us to wait till we see it to really believe it.
Yeah, and I think that's appropriate. And, you know, they obviously lose the series in Atlanta. They got the win last night. You know, Vladdy, we talk about him every time you're on, but he just doesn't allow for anything but that type of topic because of how poorly he's playing. Obviously, it was on Saturday, I think, or a couple of days ago, when he and Valenzuela got mixed up with that kind of, you know, fly ball, pop fly, whatever it was. And then he was lazy running to second yesterday in the 5th. Ball gets bobbled. He ends up getting out. I think he would have been there if he actually broke loose, you know, right off the bat. And John Schneider just, never seems to lose it on his guys, at least publicly, and that's always been his approach. Do you sense that will continue with Schneider? Do you sense that he's getting close to a public outburst? Is that in his DNA? Is it possible for him to do that? Where do you stand on the manager and how he's handling a lot of fundamental issues with the team?
It's in the DNA, fellas. I've seen that guy get redder than I've ever been in my life. It's in there. It's in there somewhere. But he doesn't like to do it to the media. And that's smart, honestly. I know that after most games, listen, I post and write about what John Schneider tells us. What he says to me is a heck of a lot different than what he is saying to Vlad in the clubhouse. And I know this. Like, I've had players before tell me that, like, what Schneider comes in and says to us and comes to your locker and says to you, that's way different than what's out there publicly. And that's a good thing. I think if you play that the right way. But eventually, fans, understandably so, want to hear their frustration also expressed by someone on the field or in that dugout. And like you said, Hayes, with Vladdy, that miscommunication on the pop-up wasn't busting at the second there whatsoever. If you're not doing the big things, you need to do the small things. Absolutely must. If you're the last player on the roster, that's how you keep a job. If you're one of the highest paid players in baseball, that's how you keep leading the team. Those small things have got to happen, and they're not. It's so strange to look at Vladdy's season. We're still talking about a 300 hitter who's close to an 800 OPS, and it doesn't feel like it because this is Vladdy. If one of the last players on the roster, 3 home runs, exactly. And we're in June, fellas. I cannot believe this. 3 home runs in June. And I know he's turning on some doubles. I know he's getting base hits lately. Vladdy will be back, and he has said this. Vladdy will be back when he can turn on a home run, stand at home plate, watch every inch of that ball flight, and then jog up for the first baseline. Like, until he really, really showboats one, he's not back. You'll know it when you see it. But we have not seen it yet, guys. And yeah, when it comes good and it comes heavy, but it hasn't happened yet. It's a landslide when it happens. But it's got to happen. It's June.
I agree. You mentioned the injuries. Alejandro Kirk, I believe, has played in Dunedin. What's the timeline? Because I think he's a pulse guy that they need back in the lineup.
Pulse guy is exactly it, Noodles. Like, Alejandro Kirk, outside of Vladdy when he's at his best, I think it might be the most important player in this organization because of the impact he has on the whole pitching staff. And I think that Alejandro Kirk, when I think of a Blue Jays hitter, like their style of offense, it's Alejandro Kirk. A guy who is reliable, who will always put the ball in play, and who every once in a while is going to hit a home run. Like, that's who the Blue Jays are when they're great. And Alejandro Kirk embodies that so well. And what he does with the pitching staff, guys, like, I cannot overstate it. So right now he has a few at-bats down single A. He'll play there a little bit more. He'll get up to triple A. Let's say a week. Within this week, maybe late next week, we're talking about Alejandro Kirk coming back. Then who do you keep, Valenzuela or Heineman? I think Valenzuela earns that job. But Alejandro Kirk, that comeback, I cannot exaggerate how big of a comeback that will be. I think it really shifts this whole roster into place, guys.
Yep, big time. Great stuff, Keegan. Have a great weekend down there. We'll do it next week.
You got it, fellas. Take care.
Keegan Matheson, Jays Orioles tonight. Trey is savage on the mound. Last time we saw him, he was pretty wild. He battled, but I think he had 7 walks or something crazy last time we saw him pitch.
Hey,
but
is there an update on Bieber? I haven't heard the name.
Same thing. He's just kind of making his way through.
What?
Well, he's on the. They shifted him to the 60-day IL. Not that factors into anything, but
right.
They've known the whole time this guy was not pitching the first 70, 80 games, like half of the season basically, because they're over. What was it? Game 63 tonight, I think. But I would guess we see him in July. That would be my guess. Wow. And then it's anyone's guess as to what he looks like when he returns. How about Scherzer? Like Max Scherzer, they don't even talk about Scherzer. Like, no idea what's up with that guy, and when he's going to pitch.
So what do you think? Bieber finished the year and he's like, my arm is just blowing out, and I'm going to opt in. And did
exactly
he had to get the Jays to agree with it? And
it was a player option. They didn't have a choice. So he opted in, got his money, and he obviously knew I'm not pitching a ton next year. Like, it just he had arm fatigue or whatever it was coming off the surgery. So we'll see. We'll see what he can bring later in the season. But some of the guys who were injured are coming back. Nathan Lucas is red hot. He's one of the hottest bats in baseball right now, and that's significant. Him returning when Kirk returns, Barger returns. If you can get Bieber cooking again, long season, but they need to start winning. 2 out of 3 here to really start catching the Yankees, the Rays, or at least secure a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Hour 2 coming up. Mike Johnson will join us on the Cup final, among other things. Jack Armstrong on the NBA Finals. Our best bet still to come. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and up on TSN 5.
Get ready to kick off the season. Get ready to go! A new season of The Amazing Race Canada, coming this summer to CTV and Crave. It's Mail It In Friday.
The plant called and said if you don't come in tomorrow, don't bother coming in Monday.
Woohoo! 4-day weekend.
This is Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your game your way. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles, McLennan. We've got a good friend Jack Armstrong later in the hour on Game 2 of the NBA Finals. What do we expect out of Wemby tonight? Feels like a must-win for San Antonio. Seeing some of the, dollar amounts on these ticket prices for New York games are just absurd.
Dude, can't be real.
It almost feels like it can't be real.
Yeah, like someone's just trying to promote it as the Garden and the hype, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like, you're a Knicks fan. Like, is Ben Stiller? Like, is that guy paying for? He gets in for free.
He's getting free. All the celebrities are getting
But let's say he
tickets.
wasn't. Is he going to be paying $45,000 like USD for 2 tickets? Like, how rich do you got to be to not care about that dollar figure? You got to be pretty rich, man, for a 3-hour sporting
There's
event.
people that have it in New York, though.
Dude, I get it, but I also know rich people that are just like, I'm not blowing 45 USD to go watch a sporting event.
Brutal seats, too.
So some people just have, if that's their thing, keep in mind, when's the last time the Knicks have been relevant? Literally.
27 years.
Exactly. So, okay, so let's just, and I know this is a bad analogy, but let's say the Leafs are in the final. There's people that have been waiting their whole life for that. And they go, I'm a billionaire, I'm worth lots of money. Mm-hmm. How much would you pay, for great tickets at Scotiabank Cup final for the Leafs? That's the people in New York. And there's lots of money there. There's lots of money here.
Totally.
So that's what you're dealing with.
I understand. I get it. And if you're a billionaire, who the hell cares? 50 grand is nothing.
It's nothing to
you
them.
wouldn't even flinch at that. But ultimately what I think is happening, likely, because I know it happens in Toronto, is it's businesses that are buying them for clients.
Corporate. Yeah,
clients
100%.
are like, hey, you want to keep my business, you make a lot of money off me, I'm going to Game 3.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, okay. What are we paying for these tickets? $40 grand. We got to pay it. Expense it.
Exactly.
And that's what's likely happening.
Well,
I'm telling you, that happens with big companies.
Dude, 45 G's for 2 tickets on the old expense
100%.
report.
100%. A big hospitality company that goes, let's say you're, I won't even name a company, but let's say you own a bunch of restaurants in New York. And you sell a ton of product, of someone's product, and you say, I want to go to the game, they're getting you those tickets.
100%.
They're finding you a way to get tickets.
These investment bankers will spend that on, and again, I don't want to speak out of turn, although I know a lot of guys who have big expense accounts.
Yes.
They'll spend that in a weekend in Vegas.
Right.
And have nothing to show for it because it stays at the Spearmint Rhino.
Yes.
And they write it down as
straight cash, homie. Expense that bad boy.
I'm telling you,
How do you expense a Spearmint Rhino sesh?
It might be written up on the credit card as something a little bit different. Rick's grill or something. Yeah, exactly. Who knows?
Find a way.
I'm just saying,
creative.
I know people who have expense accounts, and they spend some stuff on weird things.
Outrageous money. Outrageous.
I'd go to Cheetahs in Vegas over Spearmint Rhinos.
Wow.
Anyway, bring in MJ.
Anyway, it's a big one tonight in San Antonio, and then the Cup final making its way to Vegas, back to Vegas, and those will be sought-after tickets for sure. There's Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. That looks like, what are you, back in Toronto, Johnny? What are we dealing with here? Where are you?
I came for another pit stop, Hayes. I haven't been home in 5 weeks. So it's a travel day. So instead of connecting through Atlanta, I connected through Toronto. Flew up this morning, got like 10 hours here, got some new clothes, and then getting ready to go right back to the airport after this to fly out to Vegas. And I can do some research on your Cheetah's establishment or Spearmint Rhino, a place I've never heard of, but perhaps I'll find out just what the credit card statement does say when you go to one of those places.
I like
Cheetahs, they bring you pails of beer on ice. It's a beautiful, nice.
It probably costs a fortune, dude.
I remember the Spearmint Rhino having the greatest grilled cheese at 3 o'clock in the morning there. I had alcohol poisoning the night before, so every time I had one sip of alcohol, I would vomit. So I went.
Why would you try to have a sip of alcohol?
I was trying to grind through on a second night. That's why.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting, with
But
buddies,
you
and
thought
I
a
fought
rhino
through and had
grilled cheese was the answer.
Grilled cheese. It was the greatest grilled cheese of my life at 3 o'clock in the morning.
They can run food out
That
of
is
there,
straight
man.
toxic. That
Serious
is wild.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny, you were there in Carolina for those 2 games. Have the scales tipped for you in terms of? I think you were lean in Carolina, slight lean. Has that changed at all after 2 games?
Probably not. In that Carolina probably should have won game 1. Vegas probably should have won game 2. They are about where they should be. It's the home team hasn't had a real advantage in these playoffs. It hasn't really been a sizable percentage winning advantage for the home team. So maybe we shouldn't factor that in. It's really close. There are moments where Vegas is in control and Carolina looks lifeless. There's moments where Carolina's in control and Vegas looks like they're going to have a hard time with the pace and everything else. I will say this, though. Well, first off, I hope Braden McNabb's okay. That was one of the gnarliest replays you could see. The one from behind the far net, and you can see it just come straight into his grill. That was just horrific. But if they lose him, Vegas is not very deep on the back end. They don't have – he plays first pair – all these key situations. To lose him to this, understandably, he was, whether it's a broken nose, broken facial bones, or a concussion or something else, like that is 90 miles an hour. And even if it catches the visor, and he went off like he broke his nose, could have been the visor to the nose, whatever. If he's not there, that's a pretty big blow for Vegas. So I guess I'm still not sure, Hayes. Neither team looks like they are firmly in control. The only thing I think we've shown through 2 games is Carolina's not running roughshod over Vegas. Like they dominated against the Montreal Canadiens. That stuff is not happening. This is going to be a back and forth sort of tightly contested series.
Johnny, in a shocking turn of events, Brian Hayes agreed with John Tortorella's challenging of the goal or the non-goal. Give us your thoughts. Are you on Team MJ or Team Hazy B/Torts?
So if we want to operate in a vacuum mode, let's just say, just
team,
look
dude.
at that.
You got to pick a team.
Well, I'm on Hazy B and Torts then because I can't be in a vacuum. But if I just look at the play, Freddie Anderson does not have that puck at all. It's inside his circumference of his arms, but it's on the ice. It's clear. And to me, Freddie Anderson's glove was like knuckles down. It wasn't freezing it palm down. It was knuckles down. He was just lying there. He didn't know where it was. So Barbashev, he had to go a little bit under the glove to get the puck, but he didn't push the pad and the puck and everything. He pushed the puck through. And so to me, I think that should have counted. I don't think he interfered with Freddie Anderson enough, and I think he's entitled to go and put his stick on a puck that's loose in the crease. Like, yes, you bumped his glove a little tiny bit, but I think that should be allowed when the puck is in there and it is still loose. So, yes, I agree with the idea that should have counted. Where it becomes different, situation, the fact that it was called a no goal on the ice, trying to reverse an on-ice call is way harder. And with 5 minutes left, you're like, well, hang on. It's a huge risk if you get it wrong. But he had trusted his penalty killers, didn't like Carolina's power play because they hadn't been very good. So he put all that together and he made the call. Penalty killers couldn't bail him out. But I do agree that should have counted. Even if the situation, we could have that conversation. Maybe it dictated being a bit more conservative with that little amount of time left in the game.
Yeah, Johnny, I fully admit I'm on Team Brian Hayes on this one, and you as well. I thought I had no problem with the challenge. And, it was one of those coin flip ones. They got it, unfortunately. I don't know if they felt they got it wrong, but they were on the wrong side of it. And it's unfortunate. But, did you notice in-game adjustments or game 2 adjustments compared to game 1, the flipping out of the puck in the neutral zone? Some of the things, could you tell it was systematically different from both sides?
Not a ton from Carolina. I think they still tried to play. The one thing you saw a little bit, Noodles, a little adjustment, is that in game 1 they got exposed a little bit about their man-on-man defense, and the wingers. And I would love this. They play so high. They just stand beside the defenseman. They don't sag. They don't get to the slot. They just I'm out here. When we get it, I'm going. In game 2, that weak side winger did drop into a more normal, occupy the slot, get in the trouble areas, and then get out. That was a slight difference. Of course, Martinuk swapping out for Svechnikov. That was an in-game adjustment on that first line. For Vegas, the high flips for sure were part of it, but they were just more comfortable. They weren't phased by the speed. So I don't know if they tactically made any changes, but they executed better because I think they were more familiar with what to expect and the speed that it would come at them with. So these teams are who they are. You can tinker, but you're in game 100. You're not going to reinvent how you played to get to this point. They're largely going to go with what got them there.
Yeah, quick follow-up on that. Is Brett Howden entered the Conn Smythe conversation for you?
Has to.
12-1 on FanDuel.
Kind of has to be.
12-1.
That's a new development though, because 2 games ago I don't think he was on it. Coming into the final, I don't think he was on the top 8 or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, if you go and score 4 more goals and he ends up with 17 or something, even if he doesn't get a ton of assists, all those goals. Now, the problem with him or his candidacy is that a lot of the goals he'll score, Mitch will get points on. Mitch is up to 24. You get to 30. That is a monstrous playoff. So if Mitch gets to 30, I don't care if Brett Howden gets to 17-6. I still think Mitch Marner probably wins it. But it's wild to think, even though we only played, I think, 58 games in the season, how he only scored 12. The fact that he has more in the playoffs than he did in the regular season with a 12-pack in the regular season is tough to figure, because you see that speed, you see that strength, the way he shrugged off Jacob Slavin of all people for the second one. He's in the conversation, has to be. And Freddie, all of a sudden, who was had to be the winner for Carolina, his numbers last 3-4 games, not so good. So I don't even know if Carolina were to win the series. I don't know who wins it on their team. I'm not quite sure who would.
Yeah, it's wide open on that front. I mean, Howden kind of feels like this. It's kind of like Sam Bennett from a year ago, where Bennett just kept scoring big goals, and he didn't score. He didn't do a lot during the regular season last year.
Hazy, Jaden Schwartz with St. Louis. That's who it's like. That year when they won, he had, I think, 13 or something, 14, and then he got 17. Winger, good player. We know he's a good player, but he just does so much better, and he hits it with good health and good timing. That would be a pretty close comparable for what Howden's doing right now.
So Dylan Larkin reportedly wants out of Detroit. Yeah, what kind of how was Carolina, how was the league kind of responding to that over the last 24 hours?
It was the league talking point yesterday. I know it was game 2 and but it's that's a major development on 2 fronts. One, in a league absolutely devoid of good centermen, to have a guy this good with this term that's very affordable out on the market is not a common occurrence. And you can very quickly list off teams that would like him, whether it's LA, Minnesota, Montreal, Rangers, a whole bunch of teams could use him that would be willing to pay quite a bit to get him. So that league-wide is huge. And guys, just as an aside, is it me, or does it feel like the American Olympic team had a wildly impactful effect on each other? More so than just they are together and they won and they're proud and they should be. But just about the business and their futures and taking control of their careers. The Hughes brothers, the Kachuk brothers, and Austin and Dylan and Zach Werenski. I talked to him after winning the Norris. He's talking about, I got to start winning. It's all out there where these guys are they don't want to wait anymore. So I just wonder what those dormitory conversations in Milan were like. But So there's that side of it. The other part is, what does this do to the Yzer plan, guys? Like, he was building to now, and Larkin is a big part of that build. And if he goes, you're going to get a bunch of players and prospects, but it's going to set the timeline probably back a year or two, which is not the intention. It was not the focus. It was like you're trading first rounders for Justin Falk, not to have your captain leave the next summer to go young again. Like, it's a tricky situation. And I think about Yzerman apparently was in on Hughes, right, guys? Quinn Hughes? And he wasn't sure about parting with Edvinsson. Now you're like, well, had you traded for Hughes, I doubt Dylan Larkin's going anywhere, right? He's probably hanging around a bit longer. But the unwillingness to make that deal for whatever reason, wanting to keep track of Edvinsson on their team, I don't know. But just the domino effect of where this leaves Detroit, I do not know.
Johnny, my buddy texted me and said he thinks the NHL is kind of trending towards the NBA, where movement for star players are just, it's going to be, I want to kind of get out of here and go there. I don't think it's going to be to the James Harden extent, but what do you think about that?
So I remember a day, I'm old enough to remember a time when the NHL was often criticized because there were not a lot of deals, right? Like, the cap was too tight. Star players never went anywhere. They just re-signed where they were, and it was kind of boring when it came to transactions. So we're going away from that. I don't have a problem with it all. I know some people don't like the idea of him, air quotes, bailing on his current club. You know, you give a team 11 years, you're entitled to make it. You know, if you want to go somewhere else, you don't like what's happening. And I am generally player empowerment. If they want to take control and they have the leverage to, because I tell you what, he wants to opt out. Let's say he has no trade protection and you could trade him for a better player. Do you think Detroit's going to say, no, we can't do that? Of course they're going to do it. Loyalty is not a two-way street in the NHL. They want it from the players, but they don't want to give it to you from the organization. So if you're a player and have expired your loyalty to a team for whatever reason, then cash it in and go somewhere else. I have no problem with it.
Yeah, and I'm just curious, how the league kind of ranks Larkin and how much of a needle mover he is. Where, like, Quinn Hughes is a top 6 or 7 player in the world. So everyone would do, you would presume, anything to get their hands on Quinn Hughes.
Except New Jersey.
Except for Jersey, except for Detroit, evidently.
And Detroit.
Yeah. But, Matthew Tkachuk, when he was out, he controlled it and said, I'm only going somewhere where I'd sign long-term. So he kind of basically created his own no trade list. That's a guy that I think anyone in the league would pay almost anything to get. I'm curious how you think Larkin stacks on that front. Like, in terms of, like, the presented deals, 2 prospects, 2 firsts. I don't know if it gets that crazy for a guy like Dylan Larkin.
I think Dylan Larkin is easily a consensus. I might be being conservative. Easy top 20 to 30 centerman in the league.
Okay.
He was good. He was in the Four Nations. He was one of America's best players. So, you can be a team like Montreal and slide him in behind Suzuki. Like, we were joking about the Matthew Nyes trade last week, and people freaked out about it. But, like, you saw what Nyes is reportedly being shot for, right? The insiders were reporting what that package was, 2 picks and a prospect and whatever. He's better than Matthew Nyes. He's more valuable than Matthew Nyes, and he has term. So he's not going anywhere. You got control on him. So, like, he's not Quinn Hughes, but he's a major, major league asset, especially given the control you have for the next several years.
Where do you think he's going, Johnny?
Minnesota.
Everybody thinks that.
What about Boston?
I mean, look,
Boston.
He wants to win, though.
Okay, what's Minnesota going to give up for him? You tell me that right now. That's what I want to know.
A goalie.
Wallstead.
One of the goalies.
Wallstead, for starter.
A couple young goalies.
Yurov. I know they have a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kosa lost the net in the playoffs, guys. Kosa, who's part of this great Grand Rapids year, go down the minor league rabbit hole. But he was awesome early, but he wasn't even playing in the playoffs. So, Wallstead, Yurov, Charlie Strammel is a really high-end pick, a first-rounder. They have 3 premium assets at a first-round pick in 28. That would probably get it done. And I think Dylan Larkin has no trade protection. He would accept that trade. I'm pretty sure he would go there. So you have to factor that in when you think where he might go is where he would accept to go. Boston might be one. I don't know if I don't know what their prospect pool is like. If you're Montreal, you got to make a call. You imagine him and Suzuki 1-2, and they have so many assets, so many players that they could trade for him and not deplete their NHL roster. So, but I think Minnesota, it just seems like that's a good fit. And they need him so bad, and they committed to Kaprizov to be good.
What if Detroit wanted Hage?
You have to, yes, 100%. You make that deal if you're Montreal. Not because you don't like Hage, but what is, if Hage turned into Dylan Larkin, that would be a monumental success, right? Like, why hold on to a guy in hopes that he can become the guy you're trading him for? Like, do you think Hage is going to be better than Dylan Larkin?
Oh, it's true. It's like he's got 5 years at 8.7.
I get entry-level contracts. I get it, but he fits in exactly. It's people are cling so much to prospects because they might become good, but like you're hoping he becomes as good as the guy you're going to get. You already know how good Dylan Larkin is. It's still a bit of a mystery what Hage becomes in the NHL. So if you want Hage and you want what's the Russian kid's name, Sharnikov,
Zarovsky,
you want those two guys, Zarovsky, whatever it is, Reinbacher. They got Jacob Fowler. I don't know if I want to part with him, but they have 3-4 guys there. You can mix and match. Yeah. Caden Gooley might be a player off the roster you could give them. You could make a deal and not kill the Montreal Canadiens at all.
Anaheim?
Yeah. Olin Zellweger's a good player. Mason McTavish is on the block, but those guys, McTavish is good, but I think they would prefer someone that that wasn't getting scratched last year, down the stretch. So, Anaheim for sure, but they, Leo Carlson's going to be their number one. He can slide in behind him. Yeah, of course. Yes. San Jose want him?
Yeah.
Would he be great? San Jose with Celebrini ahead of him?
Man. Big time.
100%. Yeah. There's lots of spots.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny. Well, safe travels. Enjoy Vegas and keep us updated on those reputable spots out there.
I'll send a screenshot of my credit card receipt to the group chat to see what it's labeled as. Oh,
appreciate that.
I'm there for 5 days, guys.
Journalism.
And it's
Try the grilled
5
cheese.
days, and it's 40 degrees. I got to go somewhere inside. I have to be inside. It's just practical.
Yeah.
Journalism, man. It's journalism.
That's
You're doing the work for us. We appreciate it. Thank you, Johnny.
See you, boys.
Mike Johnson joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. It's time to Toyota check out the Toyota Tacoma and Toyota Tundra pickup trucks, both available as hybrids. Maple Toyota near Canada's Wonderland in the Maple Auto Mall. I mean, if I'm Montreal, I'm putting chips in, man. Like if you're kind of locked and loaded. It's very clear they need center depth beyond Suzuki
and a good player instead of going out and.
Right.
Yeah.
I like Oliver Kapanen, but it's not Dylan Larkin.
No,
right?
Exactly. He didn't play a lot in the playoffs. He's young. He's a rookie. If you can have Evans as your third or fourth line center, if you go Suzuki, Larkin, Kapanen, Evans, like that's a really good 1 through 4. Like really good.
I brought it up yesterday, Brian, and just what MJ was talking about, all these American players and all that. He would have to be, it's coming up to Canada.
Yes, for sure. But if he wants to win, that's the thing. Like Montreal, why is Minnesota better than Montreal in terms of the way they're situated moving forward?
I agree.
I don't think they are. Like I think the Habs put their hands up and said, we think we can win real soon.
As good as Quinn Hughes, it doesn't make Minnesota like perennial favorites to win the Cup over a team like Montreal.
Right.
No way.
Right. They might be on the same plane. Don't get me wrong. But
they're in the same
Out
atmosphere.
of reach. I'm very curious to see what this ends up looking like. Mail It In Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. We'll recap what's going on down at the Memorial. That course is so dialed in. It's such a sick-looking golf course. And we're cruising towards the RBC Canadian Open next week. So recap on our tailor-made picks coming up. Jack coming up on Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Best bet still to come. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live. right, Jack Armstrong coming up here in a moment. Best bets later in the hour. The OverDrive PGA picks brought to you by TaylorMade. Feel the straight distance, feel the forgiveness, and feel the confidence as you step into every shot. Learn more about the new QI Max irons at TaylorMadeGolf.ca. None of us took JT Poston, but JT went 7 under today. He's 9 under for the tournament. That is shooting the lights out at that place.
Dude, those greens are so liquid, man. I played there one time, and I got on the practice green. And if you think your greens are great, whatever course you're at, just go there and check them out.
Yeah.
30 footers, you hit like a 2-footer. I've never experienced anything like it, man.
Yeah, they're like ice, man. And these guys are hitting like wedges way in the air, and they're blasting off the green and not stopping. Like, it's incredible. Sammy Burns, 6 under. My boy Tommy Fleetwood, 4 under. He's still out on the course. So I picked Tommy. Schauffele's up there. My main man, 2-glove Aaron Rye's 1 under for the tourney. I'm telling you, Aaron Rye is coming.
Did Scotty Boy turn it around or no?
He shot even, I believe, today. So he's 1 over for the tournament.
That's still sniffing for him.
It's sniffing. It is. He's 10 shots back, and you got to think Poston and Gerard, though, if both of them, shoot over par, but I just don't think the weekend there you can expect to shoot 67, 67. I don't think it's in the cards.
I don't know. Old Jackie Boy usually gives them like a setup on Saturday where they can take it deep, and then he crushes their soul on Sunday.
Yes, he does. Some of the flags on Sunday are outrageous. But there you go. We're tracking the Memorial throughout the week, and the PGA Picks brought to you by TaylorMade. Feel the straight distance, feel the forgiveness, and feel the confidence as you step into every shot. Learn more about the QI Max irons at TaylorMadeGolf.ca. So Cup final on its way to Vegas, tied at 1. I got a sense the NBA Finals heading back to the Garden tied at 1. I think the Spurs get one tonight. I think Wemby shows a lot more jump tonight. The Knicks, though, have been phenomenal, and they're battle-tested. They're vets. They're gritty. They grind. They fight. Brunson, man, you talk about bar play in New York. It is off the charts what's going on with Jalen Brunson.
Number 1 guy. Unreal.
Number 1 guy. And the original New Yorker joins us now around the table. Here's our TSN NBA analyst, Jack Armstrong. How you doing, Jack?
Gentlemen, I miss you. I'm the only one here. Where are you guys?
Well, we're getting ready for the game tonight. We're getting ready. We want to be comfortable for the game tonight. How you feeling about the Spurs responding tonight?
I think they will. I'd be very surprised. I mean, they don't have as much experience in big games as the Knicks do. And you could clearly see late in the game the closing ability, the clutch play, the attention to detail that the Knicks had in comparison to what you saw from San Antonio down the stretch. So, and obviously Jalen Brunson, when push comes to shove, he's gonna take the game over, and he's gonna make some plays. Sometimes you're gonna shake your head because the ball gets sticky. Sometimes he plays hero ball, but nonetheless, he's an incredible competitor, and he'll rip your heart out to win. Spurs. The other thing, they gave up some big offensive rebounds that led to putbacks. And they got to move the ball a little bit better. I think there were times they tried to do a little too much on their own, whether it be Greg Popovich, Coach Johnson now. They've always been an organization that lives and dies by making the extra pass. So they got to get back to playing that way.
Jack, you just mentioned Brunson. The one thing I'll give him is, like, he's a very unique player. Like, there's not many kind of similar to him. You just mentioned the hero ball. He's got a little bit of street fighter in him. Like, he brings a lot of energy, but he gets it done, man. Like, what a special talent out there for the Knicks.
So too often we get caught up in, the size of the player or the statistical profile, the analytical end of it. And look, all those things are important. I get that. There comes a point where you just go, I want that dude on my team.
Yeah.
I want that dude walking down the dark alley with me. He's going to have my back. I want him in the foxhole with me. That guy just has it. You can't put your finger on it, but you want him with you. And I think that's what he brings that is special. And, he did it when he played at Villanova. He was kind of a secondary player at times in Dallas. He now has the keys to the car. And I thought the best two players on the floor were the Knicks' two players, and that was Karl Anthony Towns and obviously Brunson. So they made a big difference. And look, Towns has gotten knocked around at times in terms of, not playing to a high level in big games. He was a man possessed the other night.
You mentioned Towns. He had some great comments. You heard that, there was audio of him kind of messaging his team, Jack, where he was like, guys, everybody calm down now, and we have to continue to play defense, and our offense will kind of warm up. We'll get Brunson back. I thought it was great commentary from a leader instead of the coach. I don't know what you thought of that.
I thought it was I agree with you. I thought it was great, and quite frankly, I was a little surprised because this is a guy that hasn't really ever been known in his career as being a defensive player. So, when you hear that, though, you go, aha. This guy's buying in.
Yeah, maybe he gets it now.
He gets it now. And when you see that, former Raptor coach Dwayne Casey used to say, you tell on yourself. When you show that you can do it and when you want to do it, you can, it makes a big difference. And the things you're seeing now from Karl Anthony Towns, at times, he's been a bit of a tease. He plays on his talent and wows you with talent. You say, look at a guy like that. He's got soft hands. He can score away from the basket, at the basket, he can handle the rock, he can pass it, he can rebound, he's all those things. But sometimes those guys, they're permanent potential guys, and permanent potential guys get you fired because they don't ever get to that level, but all you talk about is their potential rather than productivity. Now we're talking about when you've watched him this year, the light has truly come on. You're talking about him, this dude's producing.
So, Jack, is it as simple for them to get back into it? It's just Wemby's got to take control?
I think that's one of them. He had 6 turnovers in the game, so he's got to clean that up. I thought the Knicks did a great job packing the paint, being physical with him. I think the Spurs got to do a little better job, again, getting the ball quickly swung around the perimeter, get it to the open man. They got to have a good shooting game from 3. I think that'll benefit them a great deal because now you're going to start pulling the Knick defense away from the paint, having to contest threes, and that opens up opportunities, single coverage with space for a guy like Wemby to dominate. Again, but when you look at the Knicks, the fact that, they were in the East Finals last year, they lost, but they've played, and they fired their coach.
Right.
So now it's like, whether you like James Dolan or not, he made a decision like, this, I'm throwing it down right here. It's, NBA championship, Stanley Cup, World Series, Super Bowl, whatever it is. Like, sometimes you just got to light a fire under guys and say, you're better than this. This is my expectation. We're making a change. And, now, you make a point, O-Dog, before, and Noodles, I love your question about it.
Yeah.
And that is this. You look at a Karl Anthony Towns, and it's not a coach. And sometimes when you make a coaching change, now guys get a fire under their you-know-what, and they go, you know what? I'm empowered. It's on me. Like, part of the reason that guy got whacked is maybe I didn't get it always done. And probably some of the things he's saying are the things Tom Thibodeau got on his you-know-what for the last few years, and now he sees the light. And I think you're seeing a team that is more empowered, and the players are running things a little bit more. What do they say? When you coach players with character, the character has a way of coaching the team itself.
With Jack Armstrong, Game 2 Spurs-Knicks tonight. And what's intriguing, like you mentioned, the success they had, and Thibodeau gets let go, and they didn't try to find some new progressive 34-year-old coach. They didn't go get J.J. Redick and say, we want to give you this opportunity. They go out and get a lifer in Mike Brown, who's kind of been around forever and kind of seen it all. And
those guys are getting gassed all the time, Hazy.
It's crazy how exactly, that he's like, you look at the juxtaposition between the two coaches in the final. It's a great example of that. But you're a New Yorker. You're very familiar with the history of the Knicks. If Brown is the coach of record who brings a championship back to Knick fans in New York, like what does that mean for his coaching legacy?
Well, I don't know how much beer he drinks, but if he doesn't drink a lot, I'll hang with him because I know I'll get free beers the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And the other thing about him, and Jays fans won't be happy. I did root for the Jays when they played Seattle and when they played the Dodgers. But I grew up, Brooklyn guy. I grew up a Yankee fan.
Sure.
But I look back to when the New York Yankees hired Clueless Joe Torre, fired by the Cardinals, fired by the Mets, fired by the Braves, his fourth time as a coach. Joe Torre was the perfect guy, and Buck Showalter did a great job kind of being that turnaround artist. And you look at the career of Buck Showalter with the Orioles, the Yankees, Seattle. I'm probably forgetting someplace. He was your classic guy that would get you so far, but you needed something else to get you over the hump. And Mike Brown is kind of a little bit like what a Tory is. He's been there, done that. He's been whacked a number of times. And he just has that bedside manner that's ideal for this team. To my point before, again, I think these guys are taking the bull by the horns, and he's got that perfect temperament for those guys, whereas maybe Tibbs was a little too intense. But on the other hand, you need a guy like that to get you someplace. And then the players ultimately got to get you to the rest of the way.
Jack, Wemby's a fascinating guy to watch. Just his frame, like the way he dominates at both ends. His abilities are incredible. I don't want to get into the GOAT conversation because everybody seems to do that too much. They don't enjoy, the present and just watch the career unfold. But what do you think we're going to be talking about in 15 or 20 years with this guy, and how much winning has to be involved for his legacy just to be that much greater?
Well, number one, his legacy is going to have to be tied to winning, and he's going to be the guy that leads that organization. And they have a lot of good young players. But as we know in pro sports now, based upon the cap and free agency and all the different things that happen, the idea of having a dynasty for 5 to 7 to 9 years is really hard to keep together, because you got really good players. They're all going to want to get paid, and sooner or later you just can't do it. But he is going to be that guy that will be the face of their franchise, and they're going to have to do a good job kind of around him. And look, Sam Presti in Oklahoma City is going to have some decisions to make. Now that the Spurs have emerged probably a year earlier than people thought, how do they go about putting it back together again?
Yeah, they've got a game plan for San Antonio.
Yes, exactly. After being a champ the year before, but they had a few injuries in the West Finals that kind of made them vulnerable. But this young man has a chance, again, if he's healthy and his body type. You always get nervous with his frame. And the greater physicality of the NBA game now that we've seen in the last 18 months compared to maybe what we saw even a few years ago. The games are faster, but they're letting them hit each other a little bit more. So can he hold up? If he can hold up, this young man's got a chance to be, obviously one of the 10, 15 all-time great players if it all stays together for him.
Huge platform for him tonight. Like those legacy-building nights, tonight's one of them for Wemby. Down 0-1 NBA Finals, his first taste of it. We'll see what he's got. He is Jack Armstrong joining us. Great catching up with you, Jack. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll do it again soon.
And I heard you guys are going to be at the Canadian Open next week for a few days.
Absolutely.
I'm going next Friday, and I just found out from the guys you're going to be doing soccer.
We're doing World Cup. Yeah,
doing it
absolutely. We're everywhere.
We're going on the pitch, mate.
I love it. And by the way, I'll never forget. Years ago, Toronto FC was playing. We walked. The Raptors had a game, so I walk in at halftime, and someone says, "Hey, what's the score of FC?" And he goes, "Oh, it's 0-0, 0-0." And someone in the press room goes, "It's 0-0 already?"
Yeah, that's it.
So let's hope you have some action, and let's hope Canada wins here.
We're jacked for it. It's going to be great. This
fun.
time next week, we'll know.
I miss you guys. Someday I'll see you.
You got it, Jack.
Hello.
We'll see us. Great seeing you,
Have a great
Jack.
weekend, guys.
You too. There he is, Jack Armstrong. Ahead of Game 2 of the NBA Finals. And again, next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to be at the RBC Canadian Open up at TPC Toronto. Can't wait for that. And then on Friday, we're down at Canada Soccer House.
Just to clarify for Friday, we're not getting into...
No, we're not getting anywhere close to that stadium.
No.
People have
I
asked me
mean,
that.
we're not like doing breakdowns of the teams. What's good? Like
we're gonna be vibe setting from 12 to 2 on Friday.
Yeah,
we're not on in our usual time slot next Friday. We're a pre-game show.
Yeah.
The only thing I feel
but Noodles
like,
isn't doing liberos of set plays.
well,
No.
I mean, I've been watching. I've been
try.
watching the goaltender a lot recently.
Yes.
he's going to be fine.
Max
Crapo.
Yes, Crapo is going to be a rock star.
Yes.
But I feel like in a 12 to 2 show, are we going to have food? Like I feel like we should be able
Absolutely.
to eat on air. Should
Absolutely.
we not?
100%.
Like
100%.
I remember a show years ago, Brian. I don't know if you were there with us. Oh, we did a show from Boston, and they had those
I wasn't there.
pretzel dips with the cheese at the bar across
I
the
can just
street.
imagine what you guys were doing to that.
I was in 13 when the Leafs.
It was
were in the
Boston,
playoffs.
right? Leafs Bruins.
That's
Hayes
right.
and I are there doing a show at a bar across the street, and there were pretzel dips there, like
Phenomenal.
giant pretzel with the cheese dip and that. That's what we need on Friday.
Yeah, you're right.
We need food there.
You're right. We'll put in that request. I mean,
Okay.
it's been 13 years. Long overdue for us to fire that up again. Those were crazy shows, man. That was we were down there because remember that was right after the marathon bombing.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Remember they had found the brother they had, and he was going to the courtroom that day, and it was bedlam in Boston. Like
Yeah, the other dude was in a boat behind
hiding in the
somebody's
boat
house.
under the tarp. Yeah,
Well, he was the one that was alive. The other one was killed.
yeah,
It
crazy
was,
stuff.
Yeah, that was right around that time. It was crazy time down in Boston.
Yeah.
All right, so NBA Finals continue and Cup Final continues. We'll come back with our best bets and Mail It In Friday, brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you get it all in 20 minutes or less. Fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Tonight on TSN 1050, the NBA Finals continue between Jalen Brunson's New York Knicks.
The Brunson burner has been lit.
And Wemby's San Antonio Spurs.
Wembanyama throws it on his head.
Coverage starts at 7:30 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I do think the Spurs win tonight, but I think it's tight. I think it's like the other night. It's a close game. I don't think the Knicks are going to get blown out. And the spread is 6.5. I'm going to take the points tonight. So I see Spurs by 4 tonight. Spurs, I think it's a close game. I do. I think it's a close game, but I think they win. But I'm going to take the points and take the Knicks to cover. Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Same-game parlays available for every NBA playoff game and final game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly, 18+, physically located in Ontario.
Some of these questions, I thought I was asked some stupid questions at the Combine. Not at the Combine, just at the draft interviewing with teams.
Yeah.
Caleb Malhotra said today he talked to a team and they said, if you were on a deserted island and a guy had a bottle of water, would you kill the guy for the bottle of water? Should expose the team and the guy and just say no thanks. That is insane questioning. Mm-hmm. Would you kill the guy for a bottle of water?
Yeah. Well, what's happening is these teams have outsourced the psychological profiling, right? They're asking someone with a PhD that's never played sports, never been in a dressing room, hey, what should we ask these guys? And instead of having the foresight to say, okay, thank you for your contribution, but we're not going to do that, they just read from a cue card.
That's embarrassing.
That's what's happening.
Just have a simple conversation, and there's risk involved because guys don't turn out, and guys turn out to be dum-dums sometimes. But get to know them as best you can and be normal, and that's ridiculous.
And
that's
get
ridiculous.
to know the parents, too, because figure out the fiber of the background.
Right, because if you got dumb parents, you're probably getting a dumb kid. Yeah, very simple.
It just sometimes they overthink it. That's what you're trying to think outside the box. It's just a dumb question, though. It's too bad that something like that was asked.
Yeah, they're looking for a reaction. I don't think they really care about the answer.
It's just what you said.
Yeah, but what if he was
said, ask him this?
This is something that will get a reaction.
You're looking for a reaction. What if he's like, yeah, absolutely. I would kill the guy for the water. They're like, this guy's a psychopath. I would gut him like a fish
and take his water bottle.
Good answer. No, I'd rather just die and let him have the water. Is that soft?
Weird.
What, how are you supposed to react?
That is weird.
I don't know. I got a confirmation from our boy Todd Hayes. He just texted me saying, confirming I was never a pro ball hockey player.
Thanks.
Yeah, he said, I did play in leagues where things got really serious, but I was never paid to play.
So is it midnight?
But has anyone confirmed there is a league?
No, not one person has said that there's a budget for a ball hockey team anywhere on Earth.
Maybe we should start the OverDrive Professional Ball Hockey League. We'll have 6 teams in it, get a bunch of guys named Rick and Gary, and was it Tony and who were the guys? Tony and whatever, your guys that were ball hockey.
Greg or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure there's a real future there, and it's a real money-making opportunity for everybody.
It's called the NBHL. Look it up. Someone tweeted me, so it is a league.
Okay.
I just want you to just look at one swing. I want you to get some positive vibes, Hazy. Mm-hmm. Normie, fire up this golf swing for Hazy B. I saw it today, and I have to show everyone. Look at this hitch and go on the way down.
Who is that guy?
I don't know. Grinder? It was like one of the golf Twitter accounts. Play it again. This little move, little jiggle on the way down is insanity.
That's a little draw, though. Off. I could put that action into play.
Oh, my God. If I was on a Pro-Am and I saw someone bring that to the table, I walk.
That's like to hitch that on your back and then relaunch the swing.
He could blow his lower back out, his elbow, and his wrist all in one swing.
Yeah. But watch, he's probably like a 4 handicap.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's just all about the score.
It's Jimmy Furyk's uncle.
Yeah. It's not how, it's how many. All right, next week's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. We're at the RBC Canadian Open. We're going to be at the Canada Soccer House. We cannot wait on Friday, the World Cup. We've been waiting for years. It's finally here next week. We cannot wait for next week. It's going to be a lot of fun tracking the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup Final. Obviously, we're getting close to maybe the Leafs hiring a coach. The draft is right around the corner. It's going to be a lot of fun next week. We cannot wait. And TSN Radio and TSN, as you covered, on everything you need next week. It's going to be awesome. All right. Thank you to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, up on YouTube Live. And later tonight, you can stream the whole show up on Crave. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy your weekends. We're back Monday at...
Don't choke in the Pro-Am like you did today, you bum. 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.